Beautiful sunny Sunday. Last day for a fun day, como dicen. Because, back to the same shit tomorrow. Well, we've been on it, but, everybody else. Decided to hop on, my lunch break, chop it up with the people. Was cracking like with everybody. Was the talk of the town. Was the word on the curve. You heard me. What's everybody getting themselves into? You already know. We just chilling. Damn, it says it's 98 right now inside my car. So it's hot as fuck. Trying to get it to cool down. And shout out to my subscriber that I met today, the homie Dro. Shout out to him. That was an interesting encounter. So shout out to him and his, crew, the SBE. Shout out to him and them for the support and love. It's always interesting bumping into my subscribers in the streets. It's a trip. Got my interview tomorrow. I'm gonna give it everything I got. Hey, that's all we can do, my boy. That's all we can do. You know what I'm saying? As long as you went there and you gave it your best performance, bro. I mean, that's all we can do. And like I said, even if you don't get it, just don't lose hope, and because that only means that another opportunity is just waiting around the corner. There's always a reason for everything, no? People got to be patient with life. I think that some people get impatient with life, right? They something doesn't go their way and they automatically start panicking, right? But it's like, you can't let one experience or one bad experience, or maybe something not going your way, deter you and scare you away from, for you to keep trying. Because there is people that happens to, right? They get turned down one and then they just give up. When it's like, well, bro, like that just means that something better is waiting for you. You know what I mean? It just meant that wasn't it. I think people just, sometimes they just get impatient. Am I beautiful? Everybody's beautiful. You know what I mean? Saca la bolsita, la tuya primero. Hay que probar la tuya, ya después, si está buena, pues ahí saco la mía. Sí, tengo una bolsita. La bolsita. I mean the profile picture. It's a baby. Right? I don't know. It's because I'm on my phone and it's like the pictures are really small, so you can't even see. So I can't really tell what the images are. Because like I can't click on them or nothing like that. Or maybe I could. I just don't want to. I'm not good with technology, so I'm not good with tapping and shit like that. Because then I end up clicking on something and end up in another, God knows where the fuck. Yo, Tiki Blinker? Have you ever heard, hey, bad therapist before, like one that doesn't listen, get better? You know what? I personally never experienced that, but I have heard of that, though. I have heard of it, I mean, they're only, look, they're human too, right? And they could, potentially sometimes be having bad days and, just, normally they don't last long, though. Normally they end up losing their license and shit like that, right? Like, normally they end up having a hard time finding work, because of their track record, you know what I mean? Just like you have bad doctors, bad judges, bad lawyers, bad, it exists in every profession out there. There be no different. Bad presidents, bad governors, bad, CIA people, bad people exist everywhere, even in churches, the priests, pastors, all that, bro. You just have individuals that, are just not good at, where they're at. They just happen to somehow, weasel their way in. That's why you have even pedophiles you have pedophiles that have been teachers, doctors, lawyers, police officers, gang members, priests, pastors, lawyers, all of that, bro. That's how you're able to have these sickos in all these professions too, bro. They're not immune. That's why I never understand when, like, let's say a celebrity and he's being charged with these kind of charges and people are in denial and they're like, that's not true, they're lying. And it's like, why can't he be that? Because he's famous? Like, that shit doesn't make them immune to these kind of behaviors just because they're famous. And people think that the only reason why people don't believe that these celebrities could be like that is because they have money. And why would they risk losing all of that money, or why would they risk all that wealth for this? And then they see it like that because they care about money, because they don't have it and they wish they had it. And if they were to ever have it, they wouldn't fuck it up by, doing some shit like this. But they have to understand that not everybody thinks the same. Not everybody's the same. Just because you wouldn't do that doesn't mean that these individuals follow your morals or have your morals. You know what I'm saying? People are just different. So to hold people at the same, morals as you, it's just not it. It's not gonna happen. So just like you could have these sickos and anything else, no different, with the Lime life. Have you noticed there's a lot of hoods from LA in the Valley? Not really. Clanton, Playboys, Clanton, 18, MS, Harpies, and that's probably it. I think those are probably the only gangs from LA that exist in the Valley. Because Tunerville, Tunerville's Nella, but I guess, you could consider maybe Tunerville. West Side Locals too. Okay, so West Side Locals, Tunerville. Okay, so 7. Not that many out of the 100 that there is, 100 neighborhoods that there is in the Valley. 7 is not that many. Because you have a Lenox. Oh, that's right, Lenox. Yeah, I forgot about Lenox. My bad. Shout out to the homies on Lenox. Lenox. So 8 neighborhoods, but out of the 8. No, how many gangs are in the Valley? I think 78, 80. I think 80 gangs in the Valley. I think the last time I did a video, it was 80 neighborhoods in the Valley. Yeah, I think about 80 gangs or 80 something, but it was in the 80s. Because LA Locals is from the Valley, it's not from LA. They have a branch that went out to LA, but they're not from LA. Is AK-13 from the Valley? Yes, it is. It actually started in Van Nuys, right? But now they're in Valley Glen, right? I remember going to school with these individuals when they were just a crew, when they were just starting, when they were barely starting. You know what I mean? I remember when they were barely starting. And actually, my cousin, who's from my neighborhood, free my cousin Frosty. My cousin, he was gonna get into AK before he got neighborhood, right? Because we weren't letting him get into our neighborhood because we didn't want him in the gang life, right? But then he started kicking in with the guys from AK, and we seen that he was already going down that path, right? He pretty much said if we weren't gonna let him into the hood, he was gonna get into AK. So we're like, all right, fuck it, we'll just get him into our hood. At least we can keep him. At least we can keep track of him here. Because when you have a family member from a different neighborhood, and if something happened, you can't really tell that neighborhood anything, you know what I mean? Because even though that's your family member, that's not your hood, So at least here, you're able to, look after him, I guess you could say. Yeah, but I remember when they were barely starting, though. Right there on Woodman. and then they ended up in Valley Glen because Van Nuys is an area kind of hard to establish. I'm surprised WPS. Nah, but see WPS though with them is a little bit different though because WPS and Barrio Van Nuys were really close though. Like I remember because we go at it with both of the neighborhoods, right? And I remember the reason we caught beef with WPS was because of Barrio Van Nuys, right? Because they were backing up Barrio Van Nuys, right? So we just seen them. Okay, well, F them too then, right? So they were like, like everyone seen WPS as like future Barrio Van Nuys members. Like, okay, in the future, like once they decide to make the leap, they're pretty much gonna get into Barrio Van Nuys, because they were like that, right? But then out of the blue, they just ended up having beef. I guess Barrio Van Nuys wanted them to become a part of their neighborhood, and some of their members was like, yeah, and some of them said no. And I guess because they said no, that kind of created a rivalry between them, right? Or a dysfunction. And then they ended up catching beef, right? So that's how you have them being able to be like, hey, how are these guys established in a bigger, older neighborhood like that? Well, because they used to get along, though. They were practically a clique off of them, right? But that's how, though. Because they were already there and they're, family members and stuff like that. So it's a little bit more different for them. Sock check, fool. We ain't got no socks. What's good, Derek? What try you liking? Nice this, bro. Oh, gracias. You ever have your shit pushed in? What? Why, you looking to try it or what? You just want to know the experience? Can I get a Muhammad? What's cracking, Mr. Pasa? Is a crew called MOT in LA? Yeah, they're tag bangers now. They're like kind of like gangsterish, sort of. Some of them. Yeah, but they're an old crew though. They've been around for a long time already. They've been around, long time. Moteros. Yeah, they're old. Because you have crews that have been around for a long time, like TKO, TSS, CBS, BAM. Who else has been around for a long time? MSK, and several other. MTA. Those are crews that have been already, long time. Old graffiti crews, bro. They've been around since like the early 80s, if not the 70s. So shit, they've been around for a long time. What's the relationship with ALS in Hollywood? What do you mean, like with us and them, or you mean in general? Like my neighborhood doesn't get along with them. We don't get along with them. But then again, we don't get along with nobody in our city. Just the locals. But then we tend to beef it with everybody else. You got mail. Cap. What's cap? Baseball cap? How big are your balls? What? Soccer balls? Basketballs? Football? Ooh, you nasty. Pour it on your own time, Albert. Ooh, he's jealous. Somebody said, wait. Like, did your neighborhood beef it with them or got along? Oh no, we definitely beefed it with them. We have beefed it with them for a long time. Even before my times. That beef was around already, from my uncle's eras. What about? Yeah, we beefed it with Boys from the Hood too. Like, no, we beefed it, and now we're kind of like semi, kind of cool. Not really, but like, the beef is not is what it once was, right? It's kind of like, it's like whatever now, But back then, there was heavy beef, though. BFTH is Orange County. They have a Boys from the Hood over there, but there's also one in the Valley. And here's the trippy part: they're not the same. Like they have no connection to each other whatsoever. Isn't that a trip? They're both BFTH and they both stand for Boys from the Hood. Well, one uses a Z, one uses an S, but either way, and they have no connections with each other. Like they didn't know about each other and shit like that. Still to this day, people still don't know about each other, right? That's a trip. Because we know the story. Because my aunt, she's from my neighborhood, but her best friend, she's from Boys from the Hood, right? And she's known her we've known her since she was small, right? So she's kind of like a family, because she lived with us even for a short amount of time. So she's kind of like family, sort of, right? She just happens to be from that set, right? So I guess the common ground between our hoods now, I guess, it's because of her, right? She kind of got us to be able to, kind of put our differences aside, sort of. Right? Well, at least the beef is not what it once was, right? And, communicating with each other, right? And, they didn't even know about each other and shit like that. When I told them, some of them were still like, what? Like, really? And vice versa, when I talked to the homies in Orange County from Boys from the Hood, they didn't even know about the Valley ones either. So that's a trip. And you'll be surprised how many times that has happened, bro. Like, just covering neighborhoods. There'll be times, like, in hoods have the same names and they don't even know about each other. Like, what? There's a hood over there like that? Like, yeah. They be tripping out. Like, look at all the 4th Street neighborhoods and 7th Street neighborhoods that there is. 38s, Tortilla Flats. There's, like, 5 different Tortilla Flats neighborhoods. That shit's funny. Walnuts. Just so many different ones. Is this Drake? You used to call me on my cell phone. I'm just chilling at home. What the time I did? Orale, all right. So it was that good shit. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go hit that. I know I've been lagging on it. It's because between that one and Deadpool, like, damn, I'm waiting for Deadpool though. What are we talking about? Everything and anything. Bangladesh. Those come. Then it's did y'all get along with Blythe Street? Yeah, we get along with Blythe. I actually have a lot of homies from Blythe Street. So we definitely get along with Blythe. Blythe are cool. I got a lot of really, really good homies from Blythe. Shout out to Risky, Moreno, Bad Boy. I just know a lot of individuals from Blythe. See, Blythe is different though. Blythe stays kind of far away from our neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, so they're more of a distance to us, right? So our neighbors are kind of a distance away from each other. Like, the reason we just beef it with everybody in North Hollywood is just that everybody's so close to us. And when you have other barrios so close, your barrios normal. If there's barrios close to your barrio, you're normally gonna beef it with them, bro. Like, normally all the gangs always beef it with the other gangs close to them. That's just the way it is. And it goes back to what I said, because you're always gonna have the individuals that think that they're the top dogs, and when you have too many individuals thinking they're the number ones in the same area, you're gonna have beefs, bro. You even see it in schoolyards, bro, when one kid thinks he's the better kid than the other kid, and they have that rivalry. You just can't have two individuals thinking that they're the top notch, bro. It's a battle of egos. You know what I mean? Like, man, these vatos over here thinking that they run the shebang right here when it's us. That's just how it goes. And everyone claiming the same city and area, bro. It's just like, it's not it. Like, this is our area. Like, no. Got that shit fucked up, bro. This is our area. Like, no. You guys got it fucked up. No, you. with over in the AV. Yeah, that goes for gangs in general. Like throughout any part of the world that there's gangs, bro, they normally beef it with the other group that's closer to them. That's just the way it is. Because, like I said, it's all an ego trip. Is it true that? Oh, that's right, Logan Heights. Oh, but they're a San Diego neighborhood. Yeah, as a matter of fact, one of my big homies from my neighborhood, the one of my road dogs, the one that he schooled me. Shout out to my boy Shy Boy. His brother was the one that started Logan Heights in the valley, because his family used to live in San Diego and they moved over here. His older brothers, because he had two older brothers from Logan Heights, and they moved to the Valle. And they didn't want their little brother becoming a gang member, so he ended up getting into my neighborhood, right? And so we always had a good relationship with them because obviously those are his brothers, and they're the ones that started that clique in the valley. So that's when individuals be like, man, they ain't fools in the valley, man, this fool lying and everything. Like, bro, you're gonna tell me, bro, when I know these individuals, I know the ones that started it there. And when they have parties, obviously the homie invites us, and his brother invites his homies, and we all know each other. So I know that they're deep in the valley, bro. They're deep. They got like two cliques in the valley. They got the little homies and the youngsters in the valley. They even got clique guys over there, bro. That should already let you know the numbers they have. Yeah, but that's how you got them in the valley. Because his brothers were getting into so much problems, and the mom and the dad they moved away from the area, to I guess to protect their kids, right? Away from the shit, but they just ended up starting it in the valley. So it just didn't work. And that's why I always say you can move area to area, but it's not the areas are not to blame for your kids' decisions, because the homie did have a rough, his parents were good. His parents are good people, right? They're hardworking, but they were always working, bro. So there was no one to raise the kids, so the streets is gonna raise the kids if you're not around. It's just the way it goes, because they really did no communication with their parents, right? Like they had nothing in common, right? Their parents are older Mexican people, don't understand this, when it's like you have the Mexican people that are coming from the rancho, but then their kids are born here in the Americas, right? And so they just can't relate to each other, right? Like there's no communication just because they're just not, they really don't have much in common. You get what I'm saying? That's why there's no common bond between, when you see how these individuals were growing up and their parents, bro, because they just couldn't relate to each other. Like no los entendían. Nah, están ahí jugando que esa pinche madre ni sé qué pedo. So there was no communication because it was just like, you know what I mean? Like there was really nothing that they could bond over. Because if there's one thing I noticed, going from my homie's pad, from pad to pad to pad to pad, all our parents are the same, bro. They were not gang members. They were just hardworking Mexicans. But like I said, there was just nothing in common, right? And older Mexican people want to fix everything with insults and violence. By calling you names and whipping out the chancla and the belt and beating the shit out of you. And you already know here in the Americas, it's not the same as in Mexico. So what's seen as appropriate in Mexico and the way stuff is handled in Mexico within a family is different than here in America, right? So, you're being told one thing in school of how it should be and how it's structured, but you see the opposite at your household, right? Because your parents are living by the old rules from a different land, and it just doesn't translate that well into the Americas, right? It's just two different ways of handling stuff. While that machista attitude in Mexico isn't seen as bad, like the man thinking he's a macho, and if the woman gets out of line, he puts her in her place. That's seen as acceptable over there, but here it's not. You get what I mean? It's just two different worlds, right? So they try to apply the same rules from the ranchos here in the States, and it just doesn't translate good with the individuals being raised here in the States, right? So it creates a lot of resentment and this See, homies forget about this once you're older, because once you grow up, you realize that they were just doing it because they cared about you, and they just wanted the best for you. Now you realize that as an adult, but as a kid, you don't see it that way. You know what I mean? You see it completely different. Like they just fucking always talking shit. They just never want to, making a big deal over this and that. So you don't see, you know what I mean? Like you don't see it from that perspective because you're still young, right? That's why you just have that dysfunction. Because none of the homies' parents, or even like let's say my parents, ever tried to sit down and actually talk and actually get to the bottom of things, right? Their way of talking to us was like, pinche pendejo, ahorita que lleguemos a la casa vas a mirar, hijo de su puta madre, te voy a ponernos pinche putiza. That's not talking, bro. How you gonna fix a problem like that, homie? And then wonder why the kid is not listening to you. Like, no sé qué chingados que hacer. Ya lo ha agarrado putazos. Le dije que eres un pinche estúpido. Y no se compone. Like, oh, I forget that, the best way to fix a problem is by fucking insulting them and beating the shit out of them. That always has fixed every problem in society. Anytime anybody was looking to put their differences aside, the best method was always insult and a beating. And then they complied. When have you ever seen a problem get resolved like that? When? Name one time people have actually really been able to fix a problem like that. Never. Here's a fun fact. I have never hit my kids, and I have never insulted them. And then whenever, there was problems, I sat with them in the kitchen table, at home, and we had discussions. My kids are straight A students, my daughter's college, my son's, as well on his way already, straight A students. And I'm not just making this shit up. They have been in Magnet throughout their whole, school run. And I never once touched them. You know what I mean? And yeah, sure, there may be like a little, nerdish or geekish, however people want to say it or whatever. But they're good kids. You know what I mean? And all I ever did with them was the opposite that was done with me. You know what I mean? Same with the homies. If you look at the homies' kids, like my homeboys, their kids are far away from the streets. Like they had nothing to do with the street life. And it's just because we do different with our kids than what was done with us. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's not like the parents are doing this on purpose. They're not, They just feel like this is the way to raise because of the culture is installed in us. We feel like it's normal because this is the way we're raised. This is the way we do things. But it's not normal. And that's why you have so much within Chicanos, why you have so much dysfunction and not only here in America. Look at all the cartels and all the criminal in Mexico and all the killing, because that machista way of raising a kid and all that is not the proper way to raise a kid, bro. He's gonna grow up to be with a lot of rage and a lot of resentment, and that's why they choose to go down these paths. You know what I mean? Because hitting your kid with all that machista violence and showing no love because es un hombre y un gallo y esa madre es para las mujeres, and it's not the way to raise a kid right, bro. We as human beings, as human creatures, we need affection, bro. We're people that need to interact with each other and be shown affection. We crave it. Nobody wants to be alone. You know what I mean? So now you're raising a kid by just with this toughness and with no love, showing no love. You're gonna raise him to be a cold bastard, bro. With nothing but hate in his heart. You get what I mean? I mean, the research is there. People could look it up. The research is there. It's just that nobody believes the research. What the fuck are these people gonna know? Yeah, because they didn't only fucking went to the best universities and taught by the greatest minds on the planet. The same minds that are able to come with, solve, all these, mysteries of life and doctors and medicine and all this and that, with science. But you're saying, what are they gonna know? Why? Because it hurts. The truth hurts. I know. Come on now, bro. Just because you don't like the truth, don't be trying to dismiss it. What are they going to know? Okay, motherfucker, then when you get sick, you better not go to the doctor. What do they know? Why are you taking that medicine? What do they know? Hey, they cured all this shit with science. They found all this shit with science. Same reason, same how they came to the conclusion of this. What I'm saying, science. So if you don't believe that one, then you can't believe that one. If you didn't dismiss one, you got to dismiss them all. You gotta believe one and not believe the other. Psst. Bro, come on now. I know the truth hurts. Because it's hard looking in the mirror. It always is. You know what I mean? Hey, but truth is truth, homie. But, ladies and gentlemen, my lunch is up. We got to get back to it. It was good chopping it up with you guys, and we out.